This is Shockwave News Live. You can find me online at shockwavenewslive.com and twitter.com/Shockwave News 1. Also on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com/Shockwave News. And then, of course, last but not least, Anchor. That's anchor.fm, anchor.fm/Shockwave News. Okay, let's get into the news. Like, share, subscribe, and let's get rolling here. Let's get into the news. Okay, this is regarding which I'm very angry, the $1,200 stimulus check updates. This is what I want to give you. I'm very angry about this, but it's the $1,200 stimulus check updates for the corona and the COVID-19, why most people have either been laid off, furloughed, let go, or just plain out of work as unemployment rises. At least down here, I can tell you, down here in the state of Florida, it's very, very high right now. The government doesn't have an understanding. And some people might say, well, you're to the right or you're to the left. I'm to nobody. I'm for the American people. I'm not to the left or to the right of anybody. I am totally independent, and that's the way I want to stay, and that's the way I will stay. The government is effed up. It was today they came out with, or actually yesterday, but today is the update here. Mitch McConnell was saying that he wants to target, and Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary there for President Trump, they want to target the low-income people. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. That's great. But what they want to do is target the low-income people, people making $40,000 a year or under. Well, that's going to end up killing at least almost close to 100 million people that's not going to qualify for stimulus checks. What if you make 45,000? What if you make 50,000? I know people that are even making 60,000, believe it or not, and somebody would say, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. They should be doing really good." No, they're not. People are hurting at all income levels. When the first stimulus check went out in March, what happened was the first stimulus check went out in March, and after people got it, it's here today and gone tomorrow, because $1,200, folks, doesn't go a long way. Well, Steve Mnuchin, again, the Treasury Secretary under President Trump, and McConnell and all of the Republicans up there that's controlling the finances, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and according to Donald Trump, wanted to sit there and look and see what? After 4 months, the $1,200, we didn't get rich, the economy is not rebounding back as quick as it should, it's rebounding, but it's going too slow, blah, 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 blah. We don't care about that. What we care about is getting our lives in order. A lot of us out here listening to this podcast, our lives have totally been screwed up, totally been turned upside down, totally effed up, because a good percentage of us have not been back to work and maybe won't go back to work, not for a long period of time. They've lost their jobs. And so this look and see process by a Republican-controlled Senate under Mitch McConnell's leadership of saying, well, Mitch McConnell is saying, well, we have so much deficit, we're approaching trillions of dollars. I think it's either 32 or 42 trillion. I forget the exact figure. It just goes up and up and up. They don't care, folks. Let me tell you a question, whether it be left or right, Democrat or Republican. They print money in the U.S. Treasury. they print money. They have no intention, long before, after these senators and representatives and House representatives and Senate representatives, after they're long dead, they don't give a rat's ass. They don't. They just print money, and then they pretend like that there is a budget crisis and we got to watch the budget. Well, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, and I'm angry because $1,200, I don't know about you folks listening here, $1,200 didn't do jack shit, okay? I'm just going to say that. It didn't do jack shit. And because it didn't do jack shit, all it does is just give you a one-time, maybe barely even a little tiny boost or a bump. I don't even want to say boost, a bump. And $1,200 to get by for 4 months. And again, that was in March. You have April, May, June, July. We're almost halfway through July. So you got to figure we've gone almost 4 months for them to look, see, and evaluate and get the money where it is. Well, let me tell you where the money went. The money went, a lot of it, in the small business sector, people claiming they're small businesses. I'll give you an example, and I don't hold any opinion of this gentleman here. I don't like or dislike him either way. I just try to just walk on by. I don't pay attention to him, really. Kanye West. Kanye West is a billion-dollar man. He's got a billion-dollar enterprise, clothing line. He's got records. He's a rapper, on and on and on. He took part of that small business, if you will, loan from the government. When the government sent out billions of millions, I guess it was $2 or $3 trillion stimulus the last time. People like that. No offense against Kanye. I don't, like I said, I don't know him one way or another, and I don't have any bad opinion of Kanye West whatsoever. But he's one person. There's a lot of other people, and Trump knows them, small business, that took advantage of that. You have multi-trillion-dollar airlines, or billion-dollar airlines rather. They took the bailout. Hotels, the Marriott chain, the Hilton chain, all of them in the hospitality tourism industry took the bailout. Okay, you have lots of billion and trillion dollar business, and let me tell you, these big companies, they don't put all their money up front. These big companies are usually managed fairly conservatively, meaning if they go through a bad, rough day, or they have a bad time, they do have resources, i.e., they have it maybe in some type of account, escrow account, whatever, what have you, that they have money just in case they go through a bad time. Now, of course, this has been an extended bad time. Here we are going through July 11th, 2020, and this has been going on, coronavirus. They've been keeping this going for months and months and months. So these big businesses, is what I'm saying, are just managed very conservatively and carefully so they don't run out of money, okay? They can still cover employees' salaries and payrolls and different things like that. But just like anything else, it's just like if you out there, the person listening to a podcast, if you couldn't pay your bills, and they might say, well, we'll let you go 3 or 4 months, but we're going to keep adding the rent and keep adding your mortgage. So instead of a say down here like in Florida, $1,000 a month or $800 a month mortgage, which is very cheap, by the way, after 4 months it's going to be $4,000. And you say, well, I thought you weren't going to count it. And the person that has the lien against the your house or your car or whatever, what have you, whatever experience or whatever they're holding the lien against, they're not going to just make that money and forgive those debts, okay? That does not work this way. That does not work that way. They want their money, and so they would just say, we're just going to set that aside, and you're still going to have to pay that money, but yet though these big, huge companies and lots and lots and lots of people in Congress, for sure, and the companies they own, they got the bailout. And it's the same song and dance. Now I'm over 50 years old. It's the same song and dance always. Big companies, these members of the House and Senate and the President sometimes, depending on who's. If it's an R or a D, it doesn't matter. They're both just as easily and just as guilty. Let me tell you, folks, they always end up profiting from any type of stimulus, any type of government issued checks, anything. They have it set up. It's just a game. We, the middle class and lower class, always, the working America, always end up getting our throats cut and always end up getting hurt. This is why I've been saying for a while now that if you vote for an R, you vote for a D, you should vote what is best for you and your family. Don't vote for a party. You're better than that. Vote for the person. Vote for the individual. Don't vote for a party. I know people that are issue-based and they just vote. I'll give you an example. Hotbed topic is abortion, of course. Oh my gosh, therefore they're against it. Well, I want to vote for it. Well, then fine, then vote for it. Then vote for that party that if that's what you really want, then vote for that party. If somebody says, well, now the issue is to fund or defund police, so that party that wants to fund the police, I'm going to vote for that party. Well, then vote for that party. Vote for the R, vote for the D, but don't do that. Vote for the individual. That's one of the biggest problems in America. We have, it's a two-party system. It's controlled. There needs to be a third party. I've been saying this for, I don't know how many years, for 5, 6, 7 years. There needs to be a third party which would, in essence and reality, keep the two parties in line, because the two parties are sellouts. Both the R and the D party, they're sellouts. They sell out to their contributors. They sell out to their sponsors. They sell out to, and they take PAC money, which stands for Political Action Committee, in case you folks didn't know what PAC money is. They do all this stuff, either above board or under the table. They always do that. They always do that, and they sell out to the American people. These people in Congress, folks, these people don't like you. These people most of them don't give a rat's ass if you're alive or dead. That's why, going back to my first topic, going back to the original start of the podcast, that's why I said I'm very angry. And here's a $1,200 stimulus check update. And that's basically where we're at. These people are angry. You have people on the Republican side that just thinks, well, I'm only going to do this one more time. Hell, we should have been receiving not $1,200 in 4 months. We should have been receiving a minimum of maybe $2,000 a month every month up until now, and then maybe look and see. These people haven't got a clue of reality because they're in a warped reality, and I know lots and lots of people, and I can name them up in New York, and I can name them all over the country, that they think they're something that they're not. They might have a large, and I'm not saying who it is, you folks already know, they have a huge, large Twitter following, and they think that they are up there ranked with God, and they're not. They're not ranked with God. And because they have whole bunches of followers, and they have bots on Twitter, and they think because that crowd gets all stirred when they mention something, so then they're going to go to the House floor, go to the Senate floor, they're going to bring up a vote, and they're going to want to push something because a few thousand people thinks that they need this or they need that. Well, let me tell you, guess what? Congress ain't worth the toilet paper to wipe my rear end right now, and this is just my humble opinion. They should have been doing something every month, and it doesn't matter, again, if it's a D or an R. In this case, there's an R, meaning Republican-controlled Senate. Does that need to change? Maybe. Because they lack the understanding, and they're out of contact with reality, with the American, the middle class, the lower class. Their only prime concern is themselves and making their friends and themselves rich. And again, this is both sides of the aisle, Democrat or Republican. They just don't care. You know, for somebody to sit there and say, okay, we're going to cut you, and this is the latest update, Steve Mnuchin, the treasurer, in the Treasury Department, we're going to cut you a $1,200 check, but this is going to be your last one. Are you out of your? Are you kidding me? Somebody to say that? Are you out of your effing mind? Apparently he is. Why? Because he's not in contact with the middle class and the lower class and the poor people in this country. He doesn't talk to them. He doesn't associate with them. He has no idea. They're totally cut off. There is such a dysfunction and a disconnect between the wealthy people, and that's the saying is the wealthy people, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and this is a classic example. And is it Trump saying that he doesn't want no more money? No, it's these people saying, no, you don't want to give them too much money, blah, 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 we got the deficit. And then you have the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell making ass-clown statements like saying, well, we want to make sure where this goes, and this is going to be the last time that it's going to go, and so just enjoy your money, and we're going to even narrow the gap down, and it's only going to be from $40,000 right now and lower. It's like, do you realize that close to 100 million people would suffer that need a stimulus check and aren't going to get one? And I'm not picking on 40,000 if you make 40,000 or you make 30 or you only make 10,000 or 5,000. Okay, I got it. But it's like you have to help a little bit broader base. I'm not saying that you have to help all the rich people. The rich people are rich because one of two things: either they have something that was handed to them, or else they've worked their ass off, and hopefully it's the latter. They've worked their ass off and they build a business that's doing very, very well. If that's the case, then I commend you, and absolutely keep doing what you're doing. But again, I'm talking to the middle class and lower middle class that's hurting. Your being rich doesn't affect us, but you're being rich when you're in a pandemic. And Joe Blow over here is on the street and he's asking for handouts, $1 or $5 or whatever,